This is the LG 11200 BTU through-the-wall air conditioner. And let me just say, I've got it sitting right here in front of me. You basically can't miss it. The design is all clean lines, a crisp white finish, pretty compact for something that packs so much cooling power. It doesn't have any flashy logos that stand out, but it does have that subtle, polished look that just blends well with pretty much any room. It's kind of boxy, but that's standard for these wall units. It isn't tiny though. At about 20 inches deep, over 2 feet wide, and a foot high, it does take up some space in your wall. Just looking at it, you can already tell this unit is built solid, not some flimsy plastic thing that's going to rattle apart after a season or two. When I first saw the numbers, 11,200 BTU, I was honestly skeptical. I wasn't sure if it would actually cool a living room or a large bedroom the way it claims. That BTU rating, by the way, just means how much heat it can remove per hour. In regular terms, it comes down to how quickly your room stops feeling like an oven in July. From my experience, it lives up to the number. I set it up in a medium to large living room, about 550 square feet, which is pretty close to what LG claims it can handle. In less than 30 minutes, I could already feel the difference. The heat and stuffiness were gone. You know that feeling when you walk in from the yard and just want a blast of cold air? I'd say this AHEEG does exactly that. I have to mention installation because that was one of my main worries. This is a through-the-wall unit, not a window ack. That means you'll need to cut a hole or already have a wall sleeve, which is basically a metal frame that holds the unit in your wall. The sleeve doesn't come with the product, so you have to buy that separately. And honestly, I wish it was included. LG should really throw that in. The unit weighs a bit over 80 pounds, so you're not exactly just popping it into place on your own. I had a friend help me lift it, and even with two of us, it took a little effort to set it right and make sure it was level. Once it's in though, it's in for good. And you don't have to mess around with it, hanging out your window or worrying about someone trying to break in around it. Key features on this LG are what really convinced me to go for it. You get cooling and heating in one machine, which is awesome. There's a supplemental heat function that's not meant to replace a real heater in winter, but it is great for those chilly mornings or cool spring nights when you don't need to crank up your home's main heat. For cooling, it offers 2 speeds plus fan-only settings, which I've found really useful. Sometimes you just want to keep the air moving if the temperature is already comfortable. There's also a dehumidification function, which pulls the moisture out of the air. If you've ever felt that sticky, muggy air, even when your room is cool, you know why this is so helpful. The LG claims to remove up to 2.1 pints of water every hour, and honestly, I don't have a scientific test to check, but the air in my place definitely feels a lot less humid now. The digital control panel is pretty basic and easy to use, and there's also a remote control that's super handy. I just keep it by the bed or on my coffee table so I don't have to walk over and push buttons every time I want to change the temperature or turn it off. I appreciate the 24-hour timer a lot too. I set it to turn off after I fall asleep, so I'm not waking up in a cold room in the middle of the night. There's also a filter light to remind you when it's time to clean the washable mesh filter, which is something I always forget with other units. It's super important though, because a clogged filter can make the AC less efficient and noisier. Speaking of noise, let's talk about how loud this thing gets. I saw people mentioning different decibel ratings, like 52 or 55 dB. In real life, it's quiet for an ache, but not totally silent. I hear a gentle hum when it's running, especially on low, but it's not distracting. If you have the TV on or you're talking, you won't even notice. It's not that loud mechanical roar you sometimes get with older units or cheap window aches. I have slept with it right across the room, and it doesn't wake me up. I'd call it apartment quiet, if that makes sense. Not a library, but not something you'll fight with. One part I wish was better is the installation process. It's more complicated than a window ack, and if you're not comfortable cutting into walls or measuring for sleeves, you may want to hire someone. I did it myself with some help and extra tools. Just make sure your wall can support it and get the right power outlet. It uses a 230-volt plug, NEMA 620, not your standard outlet, so you might need an electrician if you don't already have that set up. Don't try to force it into a regular plug. It won't work, and it's not safe. On energy efficiency, this unit is pretty good, with an energy efficiency ratio around 10.6. Basically, that means you're not going to see your electric bill skyrocket the way you might with older or cheaper air conditioners. I've run it almost constantly during heat waves, and my energy use was definitely lower compared to the older G unit I had before. Also, when you use the timer or just the fan, you save even more. There's even an energy saver mode which cycles the fan and compressor so it doesn't run full blast when it doesn't have to. In my opinion, the LG 11200 BTU through-the-wall air conditioner is perfect for anyone needing to cool or slightly heat a good-sized space without wanting to mess around with portable units or big window rigs. From my experience, it keeps the air comfortable and fresh. The controls are super user-friendly, and once it's in, you mostly forget about it, except when you feel that rush of nice cold air. I'd recommend this for people with larger bedrooms, living rooms, apartments, or even an office where you want consistent temperature without a lot of noise or drama. A few little things. The trim kit that comes with it makes it look better and hide any rough edges, and the 4-way air deflection really lets you aim air where you need it, so you don't get stuck with just one chilly furniture spot. And the auto restart after a power failure is actually handy, especially with summer storms. It just goes back to your last settings, so you don't have a hot, stuffy room if the power blinks out and comes back. If you're just starting out with air conditioners, a through-the-wall model like this might seem intimidating. But if you're looking for something that's efficient, quiet, and handles more than one job, I think this LG checks the right boxes. It's sturdy, it cools fast, and you only have to clean the filter once in a while. The main downside is the weight and the more technical installation, but you won't have to take it out at the end of every summer like with window units. If you move out, just take it with you or leave it as a nice upgrade for the next person. In conclusion, I really think the LG 11200 BTU through-the-wall air conditioner is a solid, reliable solution for medium to large rooms. The cooling and heating combo is great for year-round comfort, the remote and timer are simple but effective, and the noise is low enough for sleeping or working. There are some hassles, mostly the heavy weight and the need to buy a wall sleeve separately, but those are pretty minor in exchange for convenience and performance. If you've been looking at ACS and want something that lasts, I'd say give this one a try. If this quick review helped or you've got more questions, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. Thank you for watching.